A fully sentient, multifunctional automaton. Never seen anything like it.
It's a self-aware, self-generating computer virus. Meet Project Venjix.
Join me, you'll suffer no disease, hunger, fear, or be crushed and destroyed!
That doesn't sound like living at all to me.
That took a turn. The Power Rangers are known for their strong ties to technology. Whether it's their giant robot megazords, high-tech weapons, or vehicles, they're always on the cutting edge. Even teams with less of a technology focus have Zords. It's only natural. In a world like Power Rangers, some of this tech has sentience. We've got little helper robots, artificial life, and even ones capable of questioning their own existence.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
Now that artificial intelligence is at the forefront of our ever-evolving modern landscape, can Power Rangers be a preview of what's to come? Also, comment below who your favorite robot character is in Power Rangers. I'll tell you who my favorite is at the end, so stick around. A common type of character in Power Rangers is the robot friend or assistant. These characters are generally harmless, often cowardly, or are there to provide some functionality, such as being a talking database to consult with, or working on any of the Ranger tech or Zords. You get humanoid characters like Alpha 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, Redbot, and the B-Spots Cruise and Steel. Then you get the animal-based ones, or generic smaller robots like Circuit, Rick, Tensu, and the other two B-Spots, Smash and Jax. Some of them are more helpful than others. They can usually be just as whiny messes, such as Redbot being cowardly and Tensu being plain annoying. For robots, it's odd that they would have such features in their programming. While you could say it's a failsafe in case any of them decide to go rogue, it's a bit cruel. Cruise has a bad habit of forgetfulness, which in Power Rangers can pass for a personality. Ooh. But it's incredibly messed up to have a child prodigy like Gold Ranger Nate Silva there who does nothing about it. Like, come on, dude. Cruise has proven multiple times that he's more of a liability to Grid Battle Force than a genuine asset. Either take him out of commission or slap some ram sticks in that bad boy and call it good. In Rick's case, he was programmed as a dog, the robotic interactive canine. Way to take away the jobs of real hard-working dogs, but if you're making an intelligent robot, why not just make them humanoid? With how far advanced the Power Rangers world is with artificial intelligence, there are certain implications for designing a robot to be a dog. It's almost as if there's an awareness that designing them to be human gives a little bit more of a intelligent personality to them, if you know what I mean. My point is, the dark part about all this is that once it's time to upgrade to the next model and scrap the current one, the non-humanoid robots won't be the ones begging for their artificial lives. The beloved character of Alpha has been a repeat victim of obsolescence. When we meet Alpha, we specifically meet Alpha 5, the fifth iteration in robot assistant technology. The Alpha series, at least Alpha 5, was created on Edonoid by King Lexion, father of the Masked Rider. While they aren't indentured servants, they are happy to be of assistance to Zordon and the Power Rangers. But like an Apple iPhone, as soon as the next model's available, it's out with the old and in with the new. You even see Alpha 4 in a box in Season 3, which is hilarious considering we meet him in Wild West Rangers last season. This implies how casual Zordon can be about replacing his lovable robot assistant, and in the following years, we would one by one meet his successors. Alpha 6 in Turbo, who had an annoying Jersey accent. Thankfully, when his character was carried over into In Space and Lost Galaxy, his voice module, or whatever, gets damaged, and it's replaced with a much better one. He makes an appearance in Operation Overdrive years later, again with a different voice.
Alpha, what is your mission?
My
Mission is to protect the Power Rangers and their quest.
to protect the universe.
Geez, the 6th generation of Alpha robots sure have some defective voice boxes. In Power Rangers Wild Force, we get the one and only cameo appearance from Alpha 7. It won't be until years later in the Once and Always special that we meet Alpha 9. Wait, where was 8? Oh yeah, taken over by leftover cosmic evil energy and his body taken over by a dead space witch, so Blue Ranger Billy just builds a new one. Far into the future, the Hyperforce Rangers travel through time along with their own robotic assistant, Alpha 55. But I wonder how these Alphas feel about getting replaced. Or what would happen if they went rogue? If you've read the comics, we meet Alpha 1, the first ever Alpha robot created by King Lexion. He was designed specifically for combat, but after being lost in battle, future Alpha models were strictly for assistance, and Zordon would later rely on the Rangers to do his fighting, which was something Alpha 1 did not take so kind to. He wasn't fond of Alpha 5 not being programmed for combat. His philosophy for it also clashed with the other Rangers, who had to stop him from outright killing Goldar. It was clear that he was willing to kill to stop a threat, which goes against Zordon's classic rule of not escalating a fight. But then, you have to call into question the Rangers killing monsters every week, but whatever, moral dilemma. He then goes on a rampage soon after determining that Zordon's philosophy does not align with his prime directive, so he gets put down, only to upload himself somewhere else to be rebuilt later. Okay, but robots can also be an absolute help, but that was just one example of one going rogue. It can't get that bad, can it? Well, yes it can, if left unchecked. In Power Rangers, robot armies took over and participated in a full-scale invasion, 2 separate times. In Power Rangers Zeo, mainstay villains Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa were ousted from their moon palace by the evil Machine Empire, an empire of sentient machines with military artillery. And while they're in an alliance with other villains in the series, they don't get along with them, and they're shown to easily rebuild themselves after getting blown up. So as long as they're repairable, they won't die. The henchmen, the cogs, are said to need being dismantled to be defeated, but they also had no problem taking down the Phantom Ranger and Blue Centurion. The second robot army was much, much more lethal. Power Rangers RPM is set in the middle of an apocalypse, in a different dimension, but what caused said apocalypse? A military-grade artificial intelligence meant to backdoor its way into foreign governments. The venjix virus, which was created by one Dr. K, who was a child prodigy kidnapped by a government think tank. Long story short, the virus is unleashed into the unsuspecting world after she tried to escape her prison by using it to blind security, only to be apprehended before she could stop it from spreading. Since then, they wiped most of humanity clean off the face of the earth, taking some of the surviving humans as slaves.
Oh, yes.
We were forced to work
Unbearable hours under
unspeakably brutal conditions,
allowing half of the surviving humans living in the last bastion of society to become unknowing cyborgs and cause pollution so bad the orgs from Wild Force would be jealous. But speaking of cyborgs,
now all of a sudden they love each other. Oh, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Of course not, you're a robot.
robots are one thing. Robots with synthetic human flesh? Well, there's a distinction to be made. First are cyborgs. What's the difference between a robot and a cyborg?
Now, tell me the difference between a robot and a cyborg.
Oh! Robots don't have souls.
That's right! You...
Cyborgs are humans augmented with technology and are only part machine. This is a big plot point in RPM, with Dylan, the Black Ranger, having venjix technology inside of him. Throughout the series, they hint heavily at how much of a ticking time bomb he is, as the venjix virus could activate at any moment. But when it does, it's much worse, as it's revealed he's not the only one. Many unsuspecting people in the domed city of Corinth, the only habitable part of Earth left, were secretly sleeper agents waiting to be activated. But they're otherwise still humans with human brains. In Power Rangers SPD, set in the far future of 2025? Geez, that's in 2 years. Humans and aliens live in harmony. Cyborgs are also a part of society, except they're just as prejudiced against. Oh well, same old, right? We follow Sophie, a cadet at Space Patrol Delta. She's part of the D Squad. On a training exercise, her exceptional performance gains the attention of the B Squad, the active status ranger team on duty. Green Ranger Bridge takes her up to the headquarters and introduces her to scientist and tech expert Cat Manx, aka the Cat Ranger, and Commander Doggy Kruger, the Shadow Ranger. The two discuss the Delta Base's new defense systems, to which Sophie takes an interest in. Later on, she sneaks back into the headquarters to tinker with it, posing a potential security threat. At the end of the episode, it's revealed that she's a cyborg. Upon finding this out, Blue Ranger Sky expels Sophie from the academy on the basis that she's part robot. Okay, technically, she admits that she accessed the defense systems, and he did follow the rules in the SPD handbook regarding anyone internally who poses a danger.
Section 4B/W, any person found to be a danger to SPD can and should be banished from the premises.
Send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
But Based Sky is probably my favorite meme.
She's a girl.
Based next to Based Carter. So let's take the least rational explanation, just because it's funny. Anyway, cyborgs are second-class citizens. Go figure. Even the same episode hints at the prejudice theming with how humans see aliens as monsters, but in turn, it's the aliens who see humans as the monsters. Wow, thanks for the reality check, Piggy. It's also nice to see Kruger call out the Rangers for expelling Sophie based on her being a cyborg. 1, because that's a lawsuit. 2, because he himself is an alien. Well, it turns out Sophie is a specific type of cyborg that the villain of the day needs for their evil plan. The Series 1 Processor Hyper-Intelligent Encryptor, or Sophie for short. The Rangers figure that out, and she's hired back in the IT department. If you ask me, that's a downgrade considering she was training to be an officer like them. If cyborgs willingly take this kind of crap in the far future of 2025, no wonder they've tried taking over the Earth twice.
Nigel, a runner. Null pointer, runner. Simon, a runner. Freeman, 713. I am a sentinel.
Androids, on the other hand, are a different story. They're robots who were never human, who were created to mimic God's creation.
But it is gonna bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human, still.
And there's no android story as iconic as that of Mac Hartford, the Red Ranger from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. After a brief power outage towards the end of the season, Mac begins to act strangely, like a broken record.
Everything looks back to normal. Good thing. Good thing.
There's a look of distress on his father, Andrew Hartford's face. It then cuts to him waking up. The wide shot reveals his decapitated head on a table and his headless body lying away from him. But he doesn't have a bloody stump for a neck. No. It's a Zord builder port. Just kidding. It's a Lightning Collection head joint. There's a heavy scene where Mac deals with the entirety of his life essentially being a lie, one of the few times in the Disney era where the music is more reserved to match the tone of the scene. That's how you know how heavy it is. His memories being a fabrication and only being a few years old, he's not taking it well. All this just because his dad lacks some riz.
Mac, you're the son I always wanted. I was too busy with my work to find the right woman. Why didn't you just make one of those too?
Oh, he did, Mac. He did. This revelation ends up rocking Mac's entire world, so much so that he has a reckless disregard for his own well-being throughout the rest of the season.
I went into the volcano because I'm the most expendable. If something happens to me, you can just build another.
Wow, Mac really dials up the tune towards his father, and I'm kinda here for it, but it shows us one possible direction that artificial intelligence can go upon discovering something like this. At least Mac still has some respect for humanity, but imagine if he went on a violent, existential rampage. It's a real possibility.
Guys, look! A birdie! It's pretty! Let's catch it!
This wasn't the first time we've had robot rangers. In fact, the first robot rangers were introduced way back in Power Rangers Turbo in the episode, The Robot Ranger.
Carlos, are you okay?
This one was a weird case. A set of duplicate robot rangers are made, much like the life model decoys seen in Marvel. They're essentially expendable soldiers to be sent out in place of the rangers. Too bad they're forgotten about after this episode. And no, the Turbo Rangers appearing in the legendary battle doesn't count as them. That's just headcanon to explain the poor writing. Never confirmed. But a big thing that strikes me with this episode, in stark contrast to Mac finding out, is that it's handled casually. A little too casually. I find it a bit disturbing how easygoing the Rangers' attitude is about all this. They essentially have artificial life in front of them, granted in their control, but these machines are autonomous to an extent. We've already gone over the possibilities of what that could lead to, but instead, let's go over how the Rangers look at it. According to Demetria, the Robot Rangers were built by Zordon and Alpha 5 on Eltar, for some reason, and the Turbo Rangers were in charge of testing them. There were a total of 5, one for each Ranger, but in some cruel move, they decided to alter the memory of Justin's robot and only his. make him unaware that he's a robot, which, upon finding out his true nature, he starts freaking out, much like Mac did. But before it gets too far, the real Justin just shuts him off, which is really dark. Instead of allowing these robots to feel these feelings, they're reduced to being unemotional tools for the Rangers, unable to speak up. Rather than choose to understand or entertain the possibility that there's more than meets the eye, dissent or unwanted behavior gets shut down. This line backs up Sky's treatment of Sophie. Once he found out she was a cyborg, he lost all respect once the veil of humanity is pushed aside. Now, there's also an argument to be made that humans have qualities that no machine can reproduce.
You're a stream of electrons moving at light speed through a labyrinth of copper, silicon, and titanium, complete with devastating flaws.
That was the entire plot of the Lightspeed Rescue episode, The Cyborg Rangers. They're technically androids. In our real-life world, we've still got room for that argument, but in Power Rangers, the technology is clearly there. An interesting thing is, no effort is made to try and understand them, instead wanting to assimilate robots to fit our human values. Megaforce has two characters like that in Robo Knight, who spent the whole time figuring out human behavior, and Troy, whose faulty programming caused him to hate water bottles. Oh, he's not a robot? That's just his acting. Huh. I admit, this is a really silly topic. Maybe a lot of it is a stretch, but let's go over everything and clearly define what makes each scenario a parallel to what we're seeing with AI. First off, tools. Robots and Power Rangers tend to have a primary use function. Take Dr. K using venjix to escape. His prime objective was to blind security to buy her freedom, but because she was unable to set up a way for it to stop, venjix did its job too well. It was a tool that functioned in an unintended way. Much like the worry we have now with AI voice generation and deepfake technology, used irresponsibly can be a concern. Second, understanding. Like with any tech, deepfake technology as to the functions and impact is very important. There's a lot of unknown. While Lightspeed makes it a point to not jump the gun and immediately militarize robots, an argument could still be made that they could work in the right scenario, but that's not explored much further. This is currently something we're trying to find out in real life. The scope of the AI landscape. Third, security. This is self-explanatory. We saw one example when Sophie tried to access the Delta-based defense system. Does new technology in any way pose a threat? Being a robot and being a weapon aren't two exclusive things either. This is Power Rangers, you know they're going to be armed to the teeth to sell more toys. But how about identity theft? How would you know who's human? I haven't mentioned him yet, but Cybercam in Ninja Storm is just a robot clone Cam made to do his old job after he became a ranger. If not theft, it was misleading to his team, and that's when trust issues start. Anyone could be a robot. Your friends, your family, your surgeon. Fourth, use cases. What reason do we have for artificial intelligence? Turbo and Lightspeed justified them as robots who could do the work deemed dangerous by humans, but irresponsibly, creators like Andrew Hartford could use it instead to build himself a robot son, a lesson he hadn't learned from as of Dino Fury. Hartford Technology, still creating life, eh? Also gonna use this opportunity to say that I hate J-Borg. I'm not saying there isn't a use case, it's just some are better than others. Fifth, ethics. You're creating artificial life. At least that's where the Power Rangers universe is heading. Being the creator of something is a big title. Now you could make the argument about what constitutes life, but I'm not touching that can of worms. We're creating entities with the ability to think and feel, yet we don't treat them equally like we do other humans. They're either a means to an end, a tool, or reduced to a label once we find out that they're not one of us. Where do we draw the line between tool and personality? Say robots become independent citizens and assimilate into society. Humans have enough trouble getting along. What's the chance that we get along with our Roblox? What's the chance that we get along with our robot brethren? It's all stuff to think about, and I'm just using Power Rangers as an elaborate framing device to talk about artificial intelligence. But what I get out of this is, we can't be fearful of new technology, but we can't completely let go of caution either. A healthy balance of both and understanding emerging tech can go a long way, but also setting up some societal standards for how we handle it. It's a scary new world. Phones allowed us to communicate in real time across long distances. Television enabled us to see the world. The internet has allowed us to learn and expand our minds with a near infinite amount of information right at our fingertips. Okay, the internet is for a lot of things, but that's just it. With any new technology, there are helpful features and not so helpful ones. Maybe we can find that with artificial intelligence. Now, you've seen life model decoys, a cyborg, 2 robot armies, and even an android ranger. Who could possibly top those kinds of robots? Well, get ready, folks. This is my #1 favorite Power Rangers robot character. Metal Alice. If anyone denies it, how dare you? This woman can rebuild herself, she's as strong as Prince Frock, and is a femme fatale, seducing Robo Knight into getting what she wants. Instead of having one love interest, she has 2, Robo Knight and Frock. Being a machine, she's only interested in one thing, the eradication of humans, especially the Power Rangers. This makes Metal Alice triumph over all of the Power Rangers robots. My hat goes off to you, Power Rangers production team. You ought to be proud. Thanks for watching. Speaking of the internet, a really great feature about it is that you get to watch amazing videos like this one. If you want to help support this channel, make sure to leave a like and comment, and of course, subscribe. That helps push out videos like this to more people. If you want to hang out with me, check out my Twitch stream, or hang out in my Discord. I'm also on Twitter. Links to all of these can be found in the description.